and welcome to this channel. My name is Nonye and I am your real estate tutoress. I'm a licensed realtor here in Illinois, as well as a licensed instructor. On this channel, I bring you the best tips and tools to getting your real estate license. I also answer any questions you may have about the process. If you are new to this channel, welcome and do consider subscribing. Be sure to share this with someone in your class who is going through this process with you so you can help them also as they prepare for their license exam. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Illinois portion of the examination and specifically 5 grounds for discipline in Illinois. Essentially 5 reasons why your license could either be suspended, you could be fined, or your license could be revoked too if you violate the Illinois Real Estate License Act. Every month, IDFPR, which is the body that governs our licenses, they publish a list of people whose licenses have been suspended or fined, right? And so I'm going to be using examples from that list to show you 5 grounds for discipline. All right. On the exam, they may throw in scenario type questions, and maybe in the scenario they want you to figure out if this person is violating the law or not. Or they could say, for example, which of the following is an example of a violation of the law, and then they'll give you different scenarios. You're supposed to pick the one that is a violation. So I'm hoping that with these examples, whichever way the questions are phrased, you'll be able to select the one that is an actual violation, or maybe the question could even be which of the following is not a violation, right? So you'll be able to decipher between them. So let's take a look at some real life examples, and these are from March to July of 2023, so they are quite recent. First one is the failure to file and or pay state income taxes. And then this is how they phrase the discipline. 34 real estate broker licenses were suspended for failure to file and or pay Illinois state income taxes. And then also 5 real estate managing brokers had their licenses suspended as well for failure to pay their state income taxes. Now, this is the most common reason people's licenses get suspended in Illinois. I was looking through the July list, and it had to be more than like up to 20. I didn't count, but that was the most common reason. And so make sure you know this for the examination. Failure to pay income taxes is grounds for discipline. And this is state income taxes. Don't confuse it with federal taxes, because the IRS is responsible for enforcing for federal taxes, and then Illinois enforces state income taxes. Second one, being 30 days delinquent in the payment of child support. And here's an example. A real estate broker was sentenced for being more than 30 days delinquent in the payment of child support. Now, I've seen this a couple of times when I've looked through the list. It's always on there, at least as 1 or 2 people who has, who's behind. And even when you are applying for your license, that's one of the questions they ask. So remember that as well. When you're applying for your license, this is one of the questions they ask. They also ask about taxes too. And it is very serious. They take it very seriously. So your license could be suspended if you are more than 30 days delinquent. So please know that for the exam, because it's something that not a lot of people will think affects their license, but it actually does. Third reason, unlicensed practice of real estate. And here's one. It says 3 individuals were ordered to cease and desist the unlicensed practice of real estate. Here they're only told to stop. So cease and desist is stop doing what you're doing, right? If they continue and get convicted, they will pay up a maximum fine of $25,000. So please make sure you remember that. Maximum fine is $25,000 for the unauthorized or unlicensed practice of real estate. The first offense is a Class A misdemeanor, and the second offense is a Class 4 felony. The second offense and any other subsequent offense is a Class 4 felony. So far we've looked at failure to pay state income taxes, being more than 30 days delinquent on your child support, and then also the unlicensed practice of real estate. The fourth one then would be aiding in the practice of real estate by an unlicensed entity. So here's how they put it. A real estate broker's license was fined $5,000 and the licensee was ordered to take a class for aiding and abetting in the practice of real estate by an unlicensed entity. So this individual, this licensed person, was aiding an unlicensed person in the unlicensed practice of real estate. Here's an example. We don't know the specifics, but here's an example that I thought of. So you're presenting someone who is not licensed as if they were licensed. And then you're letting them do tasks for you with your clients. For example, show them homes, be at inspections, things like that with your clients when you're not there. And then they're acting like they're licensed. And they're, going through the entire buying or selling process with your clients. This broker was fined $5,000. And then they were ordered to take a class. So they have to do those two things before they can begin to practice real estate again. Right? So if anyone is ever fined, know that they have to pay the fine and do whatever else is required before they can begin to practice again. All right? And once you've done both, you've paid the fine and you've done the class, you have to request to have your license reinstated. And of course, you show proof that you took the class. And then finally, this is actually a twofold one. So this person was practicing with an expired license and practicing under an inactive sponsoring broker's license. Let's take a look at what they did. A real estate managing broker license was placed on probation for 2 years, was fined $6,000 for performing licensed real estate activities while the license was not renewed, and while the sponsor's license was inactive, for failure to supervise and for failing to complete required continuing education prior to renewing the license, and falsely stating that they were exempt from the requirement. Now that's a mouthful, so you can go back, pause, and read that again and make sure you understand it. So let me break it down for you. First of all, this managing broker's license had expired. They didn't renew it. And then their sponsoring broker's license was also inactive. So even if they had renewed their license, they still should not be practicing because the sponsoring broker's license is inactive. All right? So it's a twofold thing here. Now, let's say they pay the $6,000 fine. Can they go practice real estate again? The answer is yes, if their sponsoring broker's license is now active. Well, the answer would be no if the sponsoring broker's license is still inactive. The answer also could be yes if this managing broker goes to a new sponsoring broker who has an active license. So on the exam, especially the yes and no answers, make sure the reason why you're picking yes or no makes sense. Because as you notice, I gave you 2 yeses and 1 no. So it could be yes, it could be no, but it depends on the reason. All right, so the 5 grounds we covered today are: number 1, failure to file and or pay your Illinois state income taxes, being 30 days delinquent in the payment of child support, unlicensed practice of real estate, aiding in the practice of real estate by an unlicensed entity, and then practicing with an expired license and practicing under an inactive sponsoring broker's license. And remember again, once a license is suspended, that individual's license becomes inactive and they can no longer practice real estate until the fine is paid, they've taken the class that they were supposed to take, the suspension period is over, or they've rectified whatever issue it was with IDFPR. What other grounds of discipline have you come across or do you remember from your study time? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.